welcome back to Creations by Christine. Today I'm here to show you how to make this cute little amigurumi heart. Now, it's very easy to do. It's only using the single crochet stitch, and I just use a regular 4-weight yarn and a slightly smaller hook. I'm using again my favorite hook, the size 6. It's actually kind of cool. It's got a double end so I can weave in my ends when I'm finished. So for this you're going to start by making the magic ring, and I showed you that in my last video, but I'll show you again real quick. So you want to take the tail end down, and then just take this little loop right here and twist it towards you, and then put your hook in there, and then just grab that little bit of yarn and then yarn over and pull through that loop you just made. Here, let me just adjust my camera a little bit. I'm a little bit too close. There we go. So then you have your magic ring. So in this magic ring we are going to single crochet 6 stitches. And as a refresher, the single crochet, all you need to do is go under here, pull through the yarn, yarn over, pull through, and that's your single crochet. So you're going to do that a total of 6 times. And again, you go under into the magic ring, into the center, and then grab the yarn and pull back, yarn over again, and pull through. I'm trying to go very, very slow for you guys so that you can see what I'm doing here. Once you get the hang of it, things will pick up a lot faster. So in the ring, grab your yarn, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through both of those loops. So now if you count the little V's on the side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll do one more for 6. So that's 6 single crochets in a magic ring. And then the little bitty tail here, we're just gonna pull, and it'll close right up. And you give it a nice tug to make it super tight. With amigurumi you want to be a little tighter than normal. I naturally stitch quite tight anyways, so I don't have to go as far down in hook size. So now what you're going to want to do is just double count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to put your hook in the top. You're not going to chain or anything. You're just going to put your hook in the first stitch you made, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. It's just a single crochet. It's a continuous. We're not going to be chaining up our rounds. So I'm going to take my little stitch marker and I'll slip it in there so I know where I am. And so for round 2, it's going to be 2 single crochets in every one of those single crochets that we made. So we've already got our 1, and then we're going to go back into the same hole again, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through both those loops, and then we go to the next one, go through both those little V's, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both those loops, and then back into the same stitch. Sorry, I'm a little off angle here. Back into the same stitch again for 4 stitches. And now you're going to continue this single crochet twice in every stitch until you return to your stitch marker. And I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so we are at the end of now round 2. We have done 2 single crochets in every stitch, so you should have 12. Just count to double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We are perfect. So now we can just grab this tail now that we got something a little more to hold on to and give it a nice strong pull. And that should close up that center hole perfectly. So on to round 3. Now you should remove your stitch marker. And single crochet 1. And then pop that stitch marker right back in so we don't lose our spot. And then, so that's for the first stitch is a single crochet. The second stitch is going to be an increase. So 2 single crochets in the same stitch, like that. And then the next one is going to be 1 single crochet. And you'll repeat this pattern all the way to the end. 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, like that. 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Follow that pattern all the way till you reach the end, and I'll meet you back for round 4. Okay, so we are back at the end of round 3. And you should have something that looks a little bit like this. And so now what we're going to want to do is remove your stitch marker and do 1 single crochet and then insert your stitch marker again into that stitch that you just made. And what you're going to want to do is just 1 single crochet in every single one of those stitches all the way around. And you're going to do this for 3 rounds. And it's okay if it's a little stiff. Amigurumi is supposed to be a little bit stiff. That's why you use a smaller hook to get tighter tension, because when we stuff this little heart, we don't want to see the little white filling bits in between the stitches. So essentially the tighter the better. You can also use a 2 or 3 weight yarn, smaller yarns. I like to work with cotton. This is just something that I wanted to make. This is a good idea for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up in a couple weeks. So there is the end of round 1 of single crochets, and now it's kind of starting to turn into a little cup. So what we're going to want to do is just flip that little buddy inside out, like that, and remove your stitch marker. And then carry on with round 2. Sorry, not round 2. It would be round 5. But round 5 is the exact same as round 4. That's why I'm calling it round 2. It's our second round of single crochets only. Just 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around, making sure to keep your tension. Sorry, I have the 4-wheeler in the background, guys. My neighbors. But anyways, just keep working your single crochets. And you want to do 3 rounds of single crochets total. So that will bring you to the end of round 6. And I will meet you back here at the end of round 6. Okay, and we're back, and I have just finished my first cup here, my last row of single crochets. And what you're going to do at the very end is you're going to remove your stitch marker, and then you're just going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and what we call a slip stitch. And then you want to leave yourself a little tail and snip that off and make two of those. So I've already gone ahead and made my second one, the magic of TV. So what you're going to want to do is, okay, you're going to want to take this little cup and you're going to want to rotate it like that, so it's backwards and your tail comes out the back end. And then take your second little cup. I'm just going to tuck my strings in here, and you want to go on not the first but the second stitch. So I'm going to go through on my first cup, I'm going to go through the first stitch, just backtracking. I twisted it around, and then you want to go into not the first but the second stitch, like that. Sorry, just give me 1 second, let me straighten it out so you can see here. Just like that. Okay? And what you're going to want to do is yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, and that makes a slip stitch, or sorry, a single crochet, not a slip stitch. And you're going to want to do that 4 times. So again, my first cup, I'm going to go into the first hole, get this tail out of the way here, and then into this first stitch now, yarn over, pull through both those stitches, yeah, here, tail, yarn over and pull through both those loops for single crochet number 2, and then number 3, and then now you're going to want to skip over the tail here. Camera focus for me, there we go. And you're going to want to go into this stitch right here, just like that. Sorry, my tail's in the way all the time. Get out of here. So this is number 3, and you can see them there, 1, 2, 3 behind your hook, and then you're going to go into the next inner stitch on cup 1 and then through the next stitch on cup 2, yarn over and pull through both those loops like so, and your little cups are attached. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back into that same stitch you just went into and do 1 single crochet, and then pop your stitch marker in here to mark the start of the round. So now what we're going to be doing is going around both of these cups completely, all the way around, just 1 single crochet. We're not going to do anything with this middle bit here, we're just going to single crochet around, and then when we get to this part I'll show you how to navigate through there. So you're just going to want to single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch, just like you were doing, for 1 complete round. And I'll show you what to do when we get to the other connection point of your 2 little cups here. It's got 5 or so stitches left. Sorry if I'm shaky today. Okay, so we are getting to the spot where the cups are joined, and this is my last stitch right here. I will single crochet there, and then you can see I'm just going to jump the gap and into where we put our first single crochet of our connecting 4. I'm going to go back into that same hole and single crochet, and then carry on, get the tail out of the way, carry on single crocheting around cup 2, and that will give you a nice connection with no little gaps in between. I can show you there. There we go. So there will be no gaps in between, so you won't see stuffing or polyfill, whichever you call it. I call it stuffing, but you won't see any stuffing, especially because mine is white. It really shows up on the red or the darker colors. Okay, so we're almost back to our stitch marker here. And just about. Okay, so the last stitch is a little tricky. Sometimes it gets a little tight, but you just gotta be patient. Okay, so that's the last stitch on cup number 2. And we're just gonna go right in here. I'm not gonna even remove my stitch marker so that I can see where I'm going. And you're gonna yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. And now I'm gonna move my stitch marker into there, that stitch I just made, and your cups are joined. So for the next round, we are going to single crochet 4. This counts as 1, so we need 3 more. Try not to get your tails in there. Get them out of the view here. Hold on. Sorry guys. I have uncooperative yarn today. So 2, 3, 4. And then what we're going to want to do is, it's called the invisible decrease. We're just going to go through one of these little loops here, yarn over and pull through, and then into the next one, not 2, just 1, yarn over, pull through. So you have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're not even going to yarn over, you're just going to pull straight through. So that's going to be the pattern all the way around, is 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again for the invisible decrease, not through the 2 loops, just through the 1, yarn over, pull through, and then right back into just the 1 front loop, yarn over and pull through, and then pull through all 3, or 2 of those loops, I should say, sorry. Carry on with 4 single crochets. I'll show you that invisible decrease one more time. That's 3 and 4, and then you go in the first loop only, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, first loop only, yarn over and pull through, and then take those 3 loops and pull through, and you'll continue that all the way back to your stitch marker, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. So I'm at the end of my round, back at my stitch marker, just take it out, and single crochet there, put your stitch marker back in, and what you're going to want to do is single crochet your entire round, 1 single crochet in every stitch, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Okay, so I'm just about to the end of my round here. I've been doing 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around, and you have something that's kind of looking like this. It looks like a little pair of pants or a bra. So the next round we're going to just remove our stitch marker and put 1 single crochet where that stitch marker was, and pop back in our little stitch marker, And we're going to say do 3 and then an invisible decrease. So this one we were just done has already counts as our first. So we'll go 2 and 3 and the invisible decrease, and through the 1 loop only, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, 1 loop only, yarn over and pull through like that, and then just pull through those 2 loops. So again, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and our invisible decrease. And we will continue doing our 3 single crochets, followed by our invisible decrease all the way around until we get back to the end of our stitch marker. And we're just slowly closing the gap on our heart here. So we do an invisible decrease like that, and then single crochet, 3, and finish with 1 more invisible decrease. Okay, so on to the next round. We are going to remove that stitch marker and put a single crochet in its place, and then pop that little guy right back in like so, and carry on with our next round. Our next round is going to be, you guessed it, single crochets all the way around, just like this. And then after we're done this row here, we will take a moment and pause to fill. Filling can be messy. It gets into everything. It's either that or I'm just using really cheap polyfill. I'm not too sure, but I haven't had very good luck with filling and not making a ginormous mess all over the place. So you just kind of try and do the best you can. I keep it in a smaller bag for easier use. I just take a Ziploc bag, and let me zoom out so you can see here. There we go. I just take a Ziploc bag and fill it up. Okay, so back to where we were. So let me adjust my zoom here, if I can get it. There we go. It's a little close. Back it up. Okay. So again, I'm just single crocheting the entire round. Actually, the hole's pretty big still, so we're gonna go 1 more round here. Take our little stitch marker out and put a stitch in its place. 1 single crochet. And pop that little guy back in the stitch. So this round, we are going to do 2 single crochets and then followed by an invisible decrease. This one counts as 1, so this is the second. And invisible decrease just through the outside loop, the front loop, the one that's closest towards you. So we go 1, 2, and invisible decrease. And do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. Okay, so I'm at the end of my round here, and we've got a shape like this. Turn right way up. Our little heart. So what we're gonna do is I leave my hook in so I don't end up losing stitches. It acts as kind of a stitch marker. And then go into stuffing. And you're going to want to stuff these things super compact. Like, you don't want it to be squishy. They want to be almost firm. So just be popping that stuffing in there. And fill the other little cup. Alright, so we're just going to keep stuffing and stuffing and stuffing. And now it's getting a lot firmer. It's actually surprising how much stuffing you can actually fit in these little things. Make sure you're getting into all the little holes. You can kind of smooth it out later after it's been stuffed. I'll show you how in a minute. Now, when you're stuffing, you want to almost overstuff it till you can't get any more stuffing in there, because we still have a couple more rounds to go. So we want to over cram, and then we'll wiggle it back into place once we finish stitching and seal up our project. Okay, so that looks pretty stuffed. So I'm just making sure all the little white fibers are not going to be sticking out, because it's kind of a pain in the butt afterwards to remove some of them. Okay, so the next row we're going to do is removing our stitch marker first, and we're going to do an entire row of single crochet. So put our little stitch marker back in, and you gotta try your best to put your finger in between, like so that when you crochet in, you don't get as many fibers from the stuffing. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it's totally worth it. So just stick your finger down in there like that, and use your fingernail as a guide to keep the stuffing away. See, I'm still getting some stuffing, but I mean, it's not possible to eliminate all of it unless you are very, very meticulous and have the time and the patience. I do not, unfortunately. There's not enough hours in the day to pick all the fuzz off of Amigurumi. So we're just single crocheting in every stitch all the way around. And as you go, the filling kind of stays in place, and you don't have to cram your finger in there as much to keep it out of the way. Just a little bit. And almost done here. This is probably the most pain in the butt round, is right after stuffing, because you're trying so hard not to get those little fibers. See, they're still coming out, but I'll fix that at the end. So just keep single crocheting all the way around. 3 stitches to go. It's getting super tight because there's so much stuffing in there right now. Alright, last stitch. Okay, so now the next round we are going to be doing 1 single crochet. So we'll remove our marker and put our stitch in and stick our marker back like that, and then that counts as our 1, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease like that, and 1 single crochet, and then an invisible decrease, one single crochet. I'm trying to get all those filling strands off of your hook before you do your stitch. Makes it a lot easier instead of having them all woven in like that. I'll fix that though. It's just less work at the end, the less fibers you're pulling through. And oh, come on, there we go. And then an invisible decrease into there. One single crochet. And our last invisible decrease. Like that. So we will do, you guessed it, one round of single crochet only. And we'll pop our stitch marker back in. Now, if you can, add a tiny bit more stuffing in here to round out the bottom a little more. I mean, it's going to be tedious, time consuming, so you don't want to take too big of chunks. There, we got a little bit more in there. There. Alright, so our single crochet round, get those fibers off our hook before we finish our stitch, or try the best we can. If you can get your finger in there. And almost done. Our Amigurumi heart. These are great gifts for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, Valentine's. I do sell them on my Etsy shop. I will put the link in the description below. I sell these individual hearts in red, pink, and yellow. And if you wanted a different colored heart, all you'd have to do is shoot me a message. I love custom orders. I love custom orders. Okay, so yeah, see, all you gotta do is just pick some of the little fuzzies out. That's why we overstuff. Sometimes big pieces like that come out, so we just put it back in our little bag and try and pinch as many of them off as we can as we go, just like that. Sometimes I use my tapestry needle. Okay, I use my smaller hook and I just weave it in and out those last 6 stitches. Whoop. Like this. I'll get in the center of the camera here. And then in and out those stitches. Oh, come on. And in and out those stitches. If I can get my hook to come out. There. Now that makes a sort of drawstring effect. And you can just pull like so, and then stick your hook in the side of your project like that, and try to stay as close to the yarn as you can to avoid the stuffing, and pop back out the hole. And just give our tail a pull through and snip this. We got some stuffing in there too, that's okay. Just push it back in. And there you have it. That is how I make my amigurumi hearts. Thanks for watching. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.